All right.
Hello, everyone.
Yes.
How
Hello,
are you?
everybody. Welcome to CNJ REIG. I'm Scott Forge, and this is my lovely wife, Tabitha Forge, your host for tonight. Thank you for joining. We have a great topic tonight. Before we get to it, first we're going to announce our vendors. We have, I don't think they're on, but we have A&A debris removal. So if anybody needs clean outs, demo, debris removal done, they're registered and insured with the state. They come with a 20-yard dump truck. They pick it all up. Labor is included in the clean outs, and debris removal. Demo is on a basis of what work is being done. And of course, then the fees to do the clean out work. But they're registered and insured. They go pretty much anywhere in the state, and they have their own crew. So no dumpsters needed, no permits needed, no extra dumping fees charged, any of that. So great company to work with. Happen to be our kids, but we just know they're a great company to work with. They don't wreck your driveway. We're in the middle of doing that because somebody had a dumpster on a project next to ours and the truck wrecked our driveway. So that's why we don't like using dumpsters.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Then we have Arcad Capital. If Adam wants to talk, he's free
Or
to.
Brittany.
Or
She
Brittany.
knew.
Oh, Brittany.
I
Let's
Let
put
Brittany
her
talk.
on the spot.
Let
I
Brittany
actually have to
talk.
call for your.
Hi,
Nice to meet you, Brittany.
Nice to meet you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I actually have to call up your kids. I have a couch that I
You
need
say-
it's been in my garage for like over 2 years, and I finally like ran into it with my car.
Yeah, we know. They
It's the
keep
craziest
asking every
thing,
time
so-
they see you. Like,
Yeah, I was thinking about giving it away, but now it's in bad shape now. So
Was that RK?
Arcad,
Arcad.
ARKD. Well, this is an older shirt, but
Arcad Capital. ARKAD and the word capital.
just
And we'll let Brittany
just
talk
Google
about
will
Arcad.
pop up. You'll see us.
Okay.
Go ahead, Brittany.
Oh, we have Brittany here too, the newest member of
Yep.
the tribe.
Yep, coming in. What are we're doing, we're reviewing,
You're just talking about Arcad.
today?
Arcad's a vendor for our
Yeah,
group.
Right.
we're going to talk about how to, present a deal to a lender, how to raise money, how to structure deals. You could raise private money and leverage hard money at the same time. We could discuss all that.
Great.
Okay.
I just came from the office. I was there all day, so I'm just like, woo.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Well, Arcad is
Go ahead.
our vendor for this group here. Brittany's new
Okay.
to Arcad. First time on one of our calls.
yeah.
And we have Arcad as a hard money lender vendor for our group here.
Okay.
So if
Thank you. Thank you for having us. As
yes,
always.
thanks for sponsoring our group.
Missed
a
the
lot of good-
hotels. We missed the
Yeah, we were
Yeah, sure.
get-togethers, the networking,
going to do that, but we decided against it for now.
the food.
Next year, I think it's a better option for it right now at this point.
Hopefully after the election, we'll have a vaccine and then everything.
Yeah, that's what we
Okay.
figure, because the hotel, I mean, the governor's limiting it to how many people could be in the room, and then I thought about it, I said, we're gonna have like 12 people in there. 15 maybe max, that's it, so I'm like,
Yeah.
What is
Where
the
do you guys?
capacity?
Where do you usually do it at?
we do it at the Marriott, is it the Marriott?
No.
Residence in.
It's in North Brunswick.
Okay.
So
We
you
have it
had
at
it, you had it at
I don't know.
Renaissance or something like that, right?
you had it at Bar Louie, you had it at the other place.
Yeah, it used to be, well, we used to do
Yeah.
networking events at Bar Louie,
yeah.
and then we switched that to the hotel in New Brunswick
New
last
Brunswick, yeah.
year. And we had them 2 this year, and then the COVID hit, so we put that on till next year.
Right.
And then we do our monthly meeting like this. Used to be on the border, and we moved that down to the hotel in North Brunswick. That
Okay.
just opened up last year. So
Sounds good.
And
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Marriott on the
I think
courtyard by Marriott.
yeah, Courtyard by Marriott. It's new. It's only been a year open, so. But with our governor, you can't have too many people in the room based on the
Right.
size of the room, and that room is limited by, you can have 25%, but when you start adding us, the vendors, everybody else, it reduces the amount of people that could be attending as a guest. So we were just like,
Gotcha.
"There's no point really doing it."
Makes
We'll
sense.
continue with Zoom for now, and when we get something else coming in, we'll just add another meeting. For now, we're just doing calls.
So,
Um,
all right, let
Yeah,
Brittany
Paula just
go.
joined
Hear all
us.
about Arcad
So
real quick.
Brittany, do you want to talk about Arcad to everybody real quick?
What do you do? What do you got?
You're muted.
How many
Talk to me.
investors do we have on in here? How many investors?
Everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah, everyone?
I'll,
And we're
I'll
live
take
on
this one.
Facebook, so
I'll take this one. Look, we're the leading lender in New Jersey. We're trying to go big national, which we're actually expanding our footprint. We offer, many different types of loan programs, fix and flip. We have the non-QM rental loans. We even have rehab the rent, where it's just one.
Hmm.
We're giving like the Burr method. Sure, people are familiar with that, where you're buying, you're renovating, you're renting, refinancing, repeating. Well, we could help you with that.
Okay.
And we have the multifamily bridge loans, 5 units and up. Also could be mixed use. We offer the lowest rates in the industry. We try to always be the lowest. If you have a term sheet, show us. Maybe there's something we're missing. We'll try to compete. We offer, amazing leverage as well. And another thing we're doing that a lot of lenders aren't doing is we'll cover your interest payments for 6 to 9 months. But this is for typically repeat clients, or if you could show us why we should do that, and you can show us a good deal and that you're a good borrower, we'll extend that to you.
Okay.
We're always looking to build new relationships, and and we also have ground up construction as well for like single family homes as well.
Okay.
And I shared in the chat. It's a link to our Dropbox file where there's an application to get pre-approved. We'll give you proof of funds. We also
Okay.
have a mastermind group on Facebook where you could network with other investors, and there's a whole pamphlet with all of our loan programs in there.
Okay,
We
great.
have Brittany on here. Brittany could reach out to Brittany. She'll help supply more information. She's still, she's a real estate agent, but she's still learning the private money realm. So
Okay.
we're grooming her right
Do you
now.
guys do new construction?
We do, yes,
Will you do new construction?
absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Single family, 1 to 4 family right now for new construction. We're looking to eventually get into more the commercial 5 units and up for new construction. But yeah, we could do single fam. Absolutely.
And what states did you say that you lend in right now?
Nationwide, there's a few states that we stay out of right now, like California and a few others that I'm drawing a blank right now, but it's a few
Wherever
states
there's a
that,
riot.
yeah, pretty much nationwide,
If there's a riot, stay out of that state.
oh,
yeah,
I hear you.
yeah, we don't want them burning down, houses that we have insurance, but
Or if the whole state is on fire, like
Exactly.
California,
Not going to be closing.
There's 3 of the states that are on
Well,
fire,
yeah,
actually.
California. They're not, the whole north, the whole west is
So
on
let's stay
fire.
out all 3 of those.
Remember, California is the state that gave people an IOU instead of a tax.
Probably. So,
All right.
Last vendor.
Yeah, thanks for talking about Arcad. And then we have Villa Homes. Villa Homes they handle foreclosure properties. They're one of the leading REO agents businesses in the state. It's Team Derek. Derek Logan's been involved with REOs for over 30 years in one form or another. He's been an agent for REOs for quite some time, and now he has a team. He wanted to be a vendor because, a lot of investors come to our meetings and everybody's looking for deals, and they can reach out to him, and his team will hold your hand basically through the process of buying one and going through it all the way to close.
Great.
You can always use them for non-REO properties as well if you would like. But they're a great team to work with because they have a lot of knowledge and experience. So it helps the newer investors and experienced investors as well because they know what you do. So it's easy to communicate with them on properties that they list themselves.
What was his name again?
It's Villa Homes, and his name is Derek Logan.
Derek. Okay.
Yeah, Derek Logan is his name. It's like Team Derek. If you got the mailing or if you want more information, just connect with us. I can send you over the link to his site.
Yes,
and
I'll do that.
you'll have all his information.
Yeah,
that
they're
you could
good.
just-
They'll also help with teaching you how to buy at auctions.
Right.
So they'll help walk you through that step also if you want to get into doing something like that.
So that why it was a good opportunity for us to bring them on as a vendor. So that for now is our vendors for the evening. I don't want to take up too much time because we have guest speakers here.
Our
And-
special guests.
Special guests.
Last minute, we just pulled them out of the hat.
One never comes to our event. She came to our event once.
You knew us forever. You knew us
I
forever.
know.
Yeah.
The tables have turned. All right.
Yeah,
So
it's
let's
like-
introduce.
So we have, we're talking about private money tonight, how to get it, where to find it, how to get it, how you get people to want to
Commit.
lend to you and commit to lending to you. Everybody's always looking for money for a deal. And there's a difference between Arcade Capital, which is hard money, and private lender, which is just an individual person that lends. Arcade Capital still has guidelines to follow and paperwork that you have to do. You get better rates in a bank, and it's not as hard as working as if you were working with a bank. But you still have, they still have to go with your credit and your background check and all of that. Whereas private money is just an individual that will loan based on a deal. And it's a little bit easier for you to get the funds that way and quicker without any of the paperwork. And you don't have to do a background check and such because it's based on a deal. So I don't want to steal any more thunder. I don't know if they discussed who's going to go first, but
Probably not, because I just I texted both of them and said, hey, what are you doing tonight
Right.
at 7?
so we have Nick Tang is one of the speakers tonight.
And the
along with-
tables have turned. We get to interview him this
Hey, guys.
time.
Nick Tang has been in the real estate business for a long time. We met Nick over 10 years ago at his meeting when we first started going around to meetings and clubs and finding out how the investment world works after doing it on our own without any help.
Yeah, he kind of took us in, showed us the way,
Right.
taught us a lot.
Yeah, I learned a lot going to his meetings and events. And then we also have Adam Levine, who you just heard from Arcad, is also here. So,
yeah,
I'm
Adam.
going to let Nick go first, I guess, and because Nick's a busy guy.
He's supposed to be eating right now. This is his dinner time.
Yeah. So without further ado, we'll give the Nick Tang the floor. Thank you,
Yeah.
Nick.
All right. So what am I supposed to do? I'm just supposed to tell you guys what I've
Oh,
done.
we're just going to talk about
or like my
how
intro.
people how do people acquire private funds? Like where do they find it? How do they get
Okay.
it? What it takes to get it? What can they
What-
do?
Okay, so it's not like so do you want me to talk about the whole cycle from beginning to end, or do you want me to just
Sure.
how I
Sure.
raise
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, like
talk about
if you're
his?
gonna, like it's your first deal and you need to find some money. Where would you start?
Okay, so I'll tell you guys my process, and then there's actually another gentleman on the call that's
Yeah,
super
we know.
knowledgeable.
We'll put him on the
And-
spot later. Hi, Larry.
Okay.
we see you. Go ahead, Nick.
The reason why I wanted even Adam, because when Tabitha reached out to me and was like, "Hey Nick, are you available to speak on raising money?" I was like, "Yeah, I am," but I also want Adam on the call. And the reason why was because we come from different places, like our surroundings are different, our connections are different, and because of that, what we have access to from the very start is totally different. Like my start is probably going to be totally different from Adam. But that's my assumption. But I also want to hear how Adam started, and that's why I was like, you got to get Adam on the call because I know Adam's an expert at raising.
Yeah.
But then I came on and I'm like, wait, Larry's also on here, and I've seen Larry raise. I've been at Larry's event and he's raising
Yeah.
at the event, and I'm like, Larry is so good at it, but he builds the right connections, he conveys it right. People are like, yeah, I'm all in, But so I love to hear how he first started as well. But for me, how I first started was like I came from a I didn't realize it until probably like a few months ago. I've been raising money ever since I was like 14. Because I've been doing business ever since then. And I would ask my mom for startup money, and so I had a computer business that I started with, and I would ask my mom, can I borrow a few $1,000s? And my mom would be like, okay, and then I would use that money to buy whatever I gotta buy, make money with it. And then it grew slowly from there on. But I never knew that was raising. I just thought it was like, it was just like the way, I didn't know it was called raising. But when I got into real estate, I got into real estate through the concept of using no money. right? So like wholesaling, flipping contracts, and I did that for a while. I did that for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then I got lost in it. I had like tunnel vision, and I would run into these amazing deals that were like $100,000. It would need like $10,000 to renovate, and as a 3-family, you could rent out for $1,000 per month per unit. But I was wholesaling these things, you know, and my friends were like, my guys that I was working with, they were like, Nick, why don't we just buy these things? It's like it's a printer that makes money. It's doing 30% return a year and all that. Why are we selling these things? And I'm like, for the last 3 years, 4 years, all we've been doing is wholesaling. So I didn't know anything else, you know, and I didn't realize that, hey, maybe I should keep these things. And so from there, I was like, okay, so let's keep it. It's 100,000. We know what it's worth. We gotta buy it and then refi, okay? And I was like, so where do I get the money from, right? I wasn't gonna go ask my parents for money because now I'm 27, and when I was 23, I didn't tell you guys my story. When I was 23, I lost all my money in doing a big like investment, and also my parents' money, right? So because of that, I didn't go and ask my parents for money, but I've also made a lot of money since then, and so I was also involved at the real estate clubs at Emoria, at Garden State Real Estate Investment Association at New York RIA, and I would always try to speak there whenever I can. And so I had like a little community of people that knew me. I didn't run my own RIA yet or anything like that, but I was just a guy that was active in the game. And whenever I had the opportunity to speak, I took advantage of it. And because of that, people got to know me. And then from there, I built relationships with some people that bought houses from us, sold houses to us through co-wholesaling. And so I shot out an email and I was like, hey guys, I'm looking to buy this property. It's worth this much. I need $100,000. Okay. And literally within 5 minutes, I got 5 emails that came in. I went out to like probably 25 people. I got 5 emails that came in, and they were like, we're interested. We'll give you all the money. And I didn't know what I was doing with Raising yet, right? But one thing I did know was once I got like 4 people that said, I'm interested in giving you the money for the deal, I sent out an email to the 25 people saying, hey guys, I'm sorry, but I just got all the capital I needed for this project. Even though I didn't get the actual money, but I got like 4 commitments, okay? And once I sent that out, a bunch of more emails came in, and they're like, what? I can't believe it. I didn't even get to check my email. It was already, and I just opened it and it's already funded, you know? And so that was how I did my first raise ever.
So that was all from people that you knew, though, right? There was no.
Yeah. Well, it was people I did business with. Like if I sold you a wholesale deal, Scott, right? Or if we cold wholesale a deal together,
right?
You know. So in a way, I had a relationship with you already. But
right.
Again, like I didn't know the legalities of raising at that time. But I did know that I felt like the only people that would really even consider lending me money were people that I did business with. And because of that, that was the only people I sent it out to.
Okay.
That's a good place to start.
Yep.
Yeah, and from that, it worked. Like from that, I got addicted. I started becoming more aware of like, you know, what I need to do as a business person, because it's not about just doing the business. It's people have to know you're doing it, you know, and if they know you're doing it, one of 2 things are going to happen. Either one is they're going to want to learn from you how to do the business, or 2, they're going to want to do the business with you somehow. And the easiest way for a person to learn from us or do the business with us is to invest or get involved in the project,
right.
Is what I found.
Okay. So basically you took people that didn't really know and brought them into the project and taught them how to do it from like,
yeah. So in that example, like I'm not necessarily raising. What I'll do is I'll say, look, let's partner on the deal. Why don't you buy it? Okay. put up the money to buy it, and then I'll help you do this with it.
Joint venture.
So it's a different kind of raise. I'm not receiving their capital. Whereas with the email that I did on my first project, I sent out an email. I told people about the deal, and then we did loan paperwork for that, and from that they wired me the money to buy the property. So that's different. There's like many ways to, like, raising capital to me is like, you know, I'm just trying to figure out how to fund the deal or get the capital for whatever it is that I want to do. So if it's either through a partnership or if it's through actually receiving the cash to buy the property, or even they qualify for cheaper financing or something like that, I'm open to the different ways of how we need to structure it, as long as we can at least get the deal that we want.
Right. And the deal has to make sense. It has to be
Yeah.
a good deal. Just, not
Yeah,
everything's
they're not
a good
gonna.
deal.
I mean, I've also learned, like, raising is kind of like training people, because what I've learned is that a lot of people, they're afraid to get involved,
Yeah.
and so when you give somebody a deal to invest, it has to be a great deal. And then once they come in and they go through the transaction with you, and they have that relationship with you now, from there, when you do another deal where it's a little bit more tight, they already have faith in you.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're like, you can tell them, look, it's a little bit tight, but this is what's going to happen. This is the rate of return, and this is how it's going to work out. And because they already have that pre-existing relationship with you, they'll get involved.
Right.
You want to find out from Adam? What about you, Adam? How
Yeah,
about
Adam, give me some
start?
feedback.
Yeah. What do you got?
I think that's interesting. Basically, what you're talking about is just a joint venture. I mean, you're in a way, you're not pulling money together because the investor is buying the property outright, and you have documents in place of how you're chopping up the profits. So
Exactly.
no, it's creative. Yeah, these days, look, I mean, you do have the Jobs Act that came around 2012 that now it's in your face. Everybody's looking for money. But you still, like, if you're going to start raising money, and definitely speak to a securities attorney. You don't want to get a letter in the mail because that could cost you a lot.
Get the
but
technicalities out of the way.
yeah, but basically, there's one thing, like, what do you want me to get to? Because there's a lot to talk about. You want me to talk
When you
about?
first
I
started,
think-
how did you first start?
Yeah. Talk about your first raise.
Your first raise. What made you do
Well,
it?
so
How'd you do
for
it?
me, it was a little bit easier than most people, because my background comes from, like, for example, my father, he's retired dentist, and naturally he was always investing, and everybody was coming to him for money. So he started out like, active investing, and then later on he started investing with other, different syndications. And then he actually got introduced to private lending through hard money. He was investing with a local hard money lending company. And what I learned the whole business, I was just like, wait a second. So he can lend money out to this hard money lender that's lending out this was back in 2014 at 4% and 14%. And so the lender will keep the delta. They'll keep they'll keep 3 points. They'll pay us 1 and pay 12%, so they'll keep a little bit of a yield spread. Basically what ended up happening was, money, a lot of Wall Street money came into the market, which made it an interest rate competitive environment where naturally, in order for the lender to be able to lend, they had to lower their rates, which means they had to pay their investors less of a yield or a return. And I saw this as an opportunity. I was like, wait a second, I could be the guy. I'm going for my master's, real estate management. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to underwrite a loan to someone looking to buy, renovate, and sell a house. And so that's what it is. I sought out some partners. I I partnered with Arcad Group, because what I discovered was that I don't know construction that well. That wasn't my thing. I know the numbers and all that. And I'm like, and then we started investing with them, because it's really good to develop relationships. Like if you're gonna start private lending, there's a lot of ways to get involved. But really, when you're lending, you gotta really know how to protect yourself. If you want to be completely passive, then you better find someone that you're investing with that knows what they're doing. And I'll leave it at that. So what I discovered is that there's a lot of institutional capital out there, and you don't need to lend and hold on to the paper. You could actually invest in something called I'll keep it simple. You could invest a percentage of a loan where we're basically investing in we're co-lending with other capital providers, larger institutions, and then or we could fund the whole loan and sell it off. So we're creating liquidity for our books, and we don't have to, and we can keep on recycling the same money. But there's a lot of moving parts to that business. In order to get involved in that business, you have to have a track record, because you're not going to be able to get on board with a Wall Street firm unless they're going to want to run your background, your credit. They're going to want to see your whole operation. They're going to look under the hood and see, like, how do these guys operate, and want to look at your loan tape to see how the loans are performing. We passed the test, and 2 years or 3 years later, we're at like over $70 million. And now we have probably $10 million in the pipeline now in loans. And it's amazing. Now going back to your question, how did I get started? It was a little bit easier for me. My father knows a lot of wealthy people, and naturally my father talks to them and they just write a check because of trust. A lot of it's because of trust. If that makes any sense. It's not really a lot of work. If someone's starting out and you don't have a lot, it's going to take more. It's going to take a track record. It's going to take a lot more for someone to write a check to you. One thing I can teach you is, I'm not going to lie, that what I learned, the smaller the investor, the louder they are. Does that make any sense to anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
So if you want the larger checks, like one of my bigger investors, the only time he wants to invest is because he wants to write me another check, or he doesn't ask the questions. The smaller investor, $25,000 investor is going to ask you a lot of questions, and they're going to drill you on that. So that's one little tip I could share with you.
So
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is, basically, when you're raising private money for deals, you want to go to your warm circle, which is your family and friends first. Like Nick said, he talked to his mom about raising funds. Adam went to people that was through his dad, where they had a relationship. So it's friends and family. And then after that, like Nick did, he did business with other people in different areas. And you have conversations with people multiple times, and you build a relationship with them. And then that's when you can start, because you already have a relationship, they know what you're doing. You want to tell people what you're doing. And that's when people start to get interested in it. And like Nick said, he just talked to people and said, hey, I got this deal. I'm looking for funding. Who wants to help me fund this? And then he just had 10 people give him the money. And after like 3 people, he cut them off and said, I sold it. And everybody was like, hey, what happened? I want to fund with you. So now we got to find another deal.
You gotta hang out where money is too.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
my father's in a country club down in Palm Beach. There's a lot of money down there.
Yeah. He probably hangs out with Trump, right?
You have my ticket to go with you, right?
Yeah, but he's actually the best salesman. Like people just listen to him because he's done very well for himself. He's retired. He's a dentist, and he just retired early. So naturally, people listen to him because he's done very well. But if you're starting out as a flipper, if you're starting out, really you want to build your track record. Maybe start out with hard money. Definitely get your credit up. Make sure you have good credit, because I'm not going to trust someone if they don't have good credit, and the lender's not going to probably trust you either. And then how are you going to scale up your business if you don't have good credit? That's one thing I would definitely work on. Try to build your track record, because at the end of the day, it's very hard to raise money if you have nothing to show for it. Maybe bring on a partner. Maybe bring on a partner, someone that's more experienced than you, because then maybe it'll be easier to show someone, hey, you're talking with someone, but I'm working with this person. They've been doing it this many years, and that may build more trust and more credibility, and then you can go off on your own and do it. Does that
Right.
make sense to everybody? Like,
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Nick was talking about.
yeah.
Also,
Another thing, you need to know how to put together a pitch deck. You need to know how to put together your numbers, like show professional numbers, like, make it, there's pitch decks aren't really that difficult, but you want to put a nice bio on yourself, a nice executive summary, what's your business plan, talk about the numbers, and,
He's way professional. See? All right.
I remember
Here we
when
go.
we came around. Well, I remember when we first started coming around. Al, Nick probably remembers him. Al Buhar.
Al. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gave us, and that's what he used to do. He put a packet together, and he said, "Oh, I used to leave it with like my dentist, my accountant,
Yeah.
my attorney of investing with him because he already has a relationship, so there's no illegal activity going on." And he used to just tell him, "Hey, I can make money." That's one of the things he did was with the package. This is what my track record is. This is what we do. It's just funny you said that. I just remembered that.
Yeah, no, you want to be professional. You want to put together a professional, like something you could show them.
Yep.
And really, but look, when you're dealing with people's money, it's very serious. And the one
Yep.
thing you don't want to destroy is your reputation. Reputation is the number one thing in this business. It's a very small world, very, very small world. You
Yeah.
mess
Can I
up
ask
that
a
deal-
question?
Yeah.
Sure.
Like for me, I'm from the construction side of things. I've been a contractor for years, but I've put together a team with an architect, subcontractors. We're ready to move. We're looking at some houses. We're going to focus on attic levels, like 1-story ranch style homes, putting a second story on them. I've got some money, probably not enough. I mean, what would you do first if you were me?
So
Call me. I
Find
have
a
property.
So actually, interestingly enough, being a contractor is that's a skill set that a lot of people don't have. And generally, like for our CAD, we actually love working with contractors. Okay.
Well, I'm looking to move. I've started my LLC. I'm looking to move from the contracting business into the real estate investing business. I do know the construction side of things, which I'm sure is good. Well, I know is good. And I've teamed up with an architect, and we've got I think we're going to go with a niche. Add a level of homes, create more square footage, more bedrooms, raise the property value. We're looking in this, the Little Silver, Oceanport area of New Jersey. We've got some houses that we're interested in maybe moving on, but I'm at a crux with money right now. Like I said, I have a good amount, but not enough.
So you're in a good position. So this is what you could do, right? Very simple. You're a contractor. That's a great skill set. You have some capital, which is great. Now, if you could find a deal, let's say if you could get good at finding deals,
Right.
the deal is the goal. That's like
Right.
that's like the needle in the haystack. If you could find that, you could put everything together.
Okay.
It's a lot easier to make it to find the money or put it to stitch everything together once you have the deal. But one thing I can recommend is like at ARCAD, we deal with a lot of investors that, let's say we have someone that has capital, they're a beginner, they want to get started. We just Brittany, actually we had this scenario that we spoke with Brittany before. She has some people that are pre-approved, but they have no experience, they have money.
Right.
Now they need to partner up with someone that, like yourself, that maybe that has some capital as well. And they
Right.
have sweat equity. They could put in some money. Maybe both contribute sweat equity. Now you can create something called a joint venture, and you can leverage us, because guess what? You don't have to put up all the money when you leverage us. You only have to put up
Right.
like 20%, or even
Right.
as little as 10% of that. You can even leverage money to cover, like, let's say you come to us, we'll put up all the debt. You could leverage private money to put down the closing costs, the down payment, and the interest payments.
Yeah, that's
Right.
if you're going with a hard money lender. But
Yeah.
if you want to do private money without going hard money, because it's two separate things. Hard money
Right.
is
No, but it's silly to
Document.
tie all your money.
You-
It's
you
silly
gotta
to
go
tie
through
all
all
your
that.
money. Why take private money and tie it all up in a project when you could you could spread out the risk. You could take
Because
some private money.
you don't have to make interest payments.
Private
for
money,
it.
there's no interest, there's no
monthly.
background check, there's no documentation.
Yeah.
You create a joint venture agreement between you and the other person. What you can do is joint venture with another investor.
Yes.
You're the contractor, you're gonna do the work. If you have enough money to put up for the rehab costs for the material, okay,
Mhm.
pay your workers, you
Mhm.
have somebody else that comes in with the cash to buy the property. That's how you joint
I
venture.
can show you the numbers where you're doing all equity deal with a private lender, and you can leverage private money or hard money and have lever returns.
You could,
And
but
you can
Let's
put
take a
less
shower.
money. You have less money in and much more money out.
You're gonna have private lenders. The private lender's gonna get you better return on your money at the end of the day. You still
Well,
gotta put up money.
it
for the-
depends. It
Yeah, it
depends,
depends.
Ernie, because
Lever
It could-
returns are always going to be higher than equity deals. It's just
every deal is different. So,
Yeah, but you
You
got
know,
to find the private lender.
well,
Right
now,
there's
for me,
that's
other
the
people
problem.
like us, for
Oh,
instance,
Maddie, I got a question for you, Maddie. Why don't you try to do seller finance? The ideal situation to do a seller finance situation where you're adding, so you have them hold the note, and then when you sell the
that's a
property,
different strategy. We're
Although-
talking just
Yeah,
about raising
this is
private
just
money. We're not
raising
talking
That's
about
gonna be tough to
creative
do.
financing.
yeah.
Creative financing is another level. This is for
Creative
somebody that just
financing
walks
is
in the
next
door
month.
and says, hey, like Maddie, I'm just coming in here and saying, I want to flip a house. I've never done it before. I'm a contractor. Different perspective, different point of view when you're looking at flipping a house.
Right.
Contractor does things a little bit differently than a rehabber.
Mhm.
Trust me, we've been doing this for a long time. Nick's been doing it for a long time. Contractors look at things differently. We partner with contractors. So if a contractor like Maddie comes in and says, hey, look, I have some funds, but I can't do the whole project myself. You can work with another investor that says, okay, listen, I'll buy the house. You rehab it with your money and your means, and at the end, we split the profit. That's an equity split, correct?
Right.
But it doesn't mean that you need documentation to go to a lender and say, okay, here's my W-2s, here's my current paychecks, here's my credit score,
My tax
here's my
returns.
here's everything that you're going to a
but the-
bank with, and that's what a
The
hard
only
money
problem
lender-
is you're gonna have to let's say a house. What's a house all in New Jersey? Could be a few hundred
Depends
thousand.
on what town.
Depends on what town or what the project is.
Where
Yeah.
I'm looking,
Yeah, some
400, 500,000.
And that's for all in, like including your acquisition, renovation.
No, that's just the house.
So now,
As
so
it
if you're gonna find
sits.
a private
That's
lender,
the
you're gonna have to
purchase
find
price.
someone that could write a check for like what, 600,000,
Nah, I would say
No,
4 to 5.
Yeah.
4 to 5. But guess what? Let's say
I
you
have
can,
one. He just raised his hand.
but let's say you
could
don't have a.
mul-
You're pitching ARCAD too much. We're talking about
Yeah.
strictly private money here.
Raising private
Okay,
funds.
this is raising private capital, not.
No, but
using
I'm trying to tell you how to
leverage
structure
for
I
your
raised my hand because I was doing the math. I wasn't volunteering.
Yeah.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
just trying to
it's
show you.
another strategy
also,
the way you
you
could
can
do it, but
have
That would be,
multiple
project-
private lenders lending
Like-
on the same property. Like you don't have to find one person who can give you 600,000. You
exactly.
can find
You
six
don't.
people who
You
can give you 100,000.
Be
and I
careful
know-
with that. Now you're dealing with
Our
security.
Syndicate. You have to
I'll tell
syndicate.
you,
deal.
Dealing with securities. Just be careful finding
Okay,
security.
our
when you
first
say-
deal.
when you
You don't want to see you
Cool.
behind bars.
Yeah,
Everybody has
first
a
deal
note on it. Nick
Maybe
has a
you can
thing.
control
Let me
things.
speak.
You can't control the thing. All right. So first of all, let's talk about that. Like when you're pooling money together, meaning raising capital for more than one person, you have to create a fund. Is that right, Adam?
You're gonna be dealing with securities law, and we
Yeah.
don't want to see you
Yeah,
on. CNBC.
You can do it with an LLC.
Yes, you could do it with an LLC.
But it
But
also
you're
depends on
being,
how
but
many
you're
people-
crossing a fine line. We
Yeah,
start-
yeah. It's very controversial actually because the
Would you
reason
like
I'll give
would
you
you
an
like to know the
example.
rules?
I'm sorry.
Sure.
Sure.
Larry, you can say-
knowing the rules is a good thing, yeah.
Would you
Yeah,
guys
what's the
online
rules,
like to
Larry?
know everything about raising private money?
The
Yes.
puppy says yes.
I mean,
Please.
everything about raising private money?
Yes.
That's why we're here.
Are you guys going to give me the floor for 40 minutes?
For 40 minutes.
I would.
Why am I even on here?
Okay. I will take the floor for 40 minutes. You guys can ask any questions you want in the chat box. Scott, you got to give me the
Okay.
share screen availability. And I want you guys to know that my students
no, we're in
my
trouble.
students have paid a lot of money for this class. I just feel like teaching. I'm in the mood. So you
I
guys
like
are going to
that.
get something for free that you guys normally would have to pay a lot of money for, and Nick knows it. Right, Nick?
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I know.
And
I know
matter
you're.
of fact, Joey Chen is one of my students.
I want your
he'll tell
contact
you too.
information.
I'll get it to you. Don't worry.
You can find Larry everywhere, trust me.
So wait.
All right, give me some.
Are you doing the presentation now?
There's also take notes. I'm gonna
I'm
go
ready.
faster than I usually go.
You just took over, Nick.
40 minutes?
I always
I'm
do, by
ready.
the way.
You can
All
still
right.
talk.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
You can.
All right,
Yep,
cool.
See it.
All right, I just want to make sure I could see you guys on the screen. All right, here we go. All right, so first of all, okay. So first of all, yeah.
Okay, well,
Okay. So first of all, you need to know I'm not I have to read this disclaimer because I'm going to go into a lot of legal stuff. I do not claim that anything in this presentation is legal advice, estate advice, or tax advice. Please feel free to check with your accountant or attorney before using any of these techniques discussed in this presentation or any techniques I ever discuss with you. Stock options, real estate investing have inherent risks, and these should not be taken lightly. Any claims made in this presentation are my results or the stated results of students. Your results may differ. Results are also based on effort. I promise that if you do nothing, your results will be nothing. If you actively learn to participate in any program, your chances of success will increase dramatically, but are not guaranteed. Like with any program designed for your financial success, you need to be prudent and responsible for your actions. Okay, cool. All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
You guys want to learn how to raise private money legally and effectively? Here we go. Here's a hypothetical deal. Let's say there's a 30-unit apartment building and it's offered for $1.8 million. Hey, Tabitha, you got $1.8 million to lend me?
I could.
Well, there you go. See that? Now you need to know how to do it. How do we raise $1.8 million? Let's go back to the basics first, because that's what you guys want to really hear about. So the first thing you need to do is you need to understand the ingredients of borrowing money. The first thing is a promissory note. You guys need to know what a promissory note is. So write down in your piece of paper right now the words promissory note. The promissory note is a document describing the terms and conditions of which a borrower will repay a lender a specific sum of money. It's basically a loan. It's just like the loan that you guys took when you got the mortgages on your house. As a matter of fact, it's probably the same document, the same paperwork that we use, that we give to our students. By the way, there's something called a mortgage. And almost everyone on this webinar does not know what a mortgage is. Who is not a mortgage broker and who is not a real estate agent? Tell me what a mortgage is.
Where do you
Moi?
want?
A mortgage is a note, a letter stating that this is what's owed, this is what you owe on the house, and you owe it to this person or this LLC, or basically.
So actually, that's the promissory note. So Tony says it's a lien. He spelled it wrong, but he says it's a lien. But what does that
Security
mean?
instrument.
Security instrument.
Okay. Exactly. Well, yeah.
John says
I didn't
promise
go
to
with
pay
security instrument.
secured
I'll go
by
with that one.
property.
So
Yeah.
basically, it's a lien on the property that gives the lender the right to take title. Whoops, I just lost my
Right.
screen. How did that happen?
Yeah.
Yep, it's a lien.
We see it.
Title on default, right.
Wow. I don't usually do that. Yeah, I know. So it's a document that gives the lender the right to take title of the promissory if the promissory note is in default. So this is interesting. So I bet you, does anybody have a mortgage on their property right now?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Give me one of the participants. How about Paula? Hey, Paula.
Yes.
Do you own a house?
I do.
The one you're living in, right?
Yes.
How much of your house do you own?
50%.
So basically what you're saying is you own 50% of your home, which basically says that you have, let's say if it's worth 100,000, you owe 50,000, right?
Yep.
Okay, but how much of it do you own?
Oh, I don't own anything until I pay the mortgage.
Get the title.
Okay, you ready? This is going to blow most of your minds. You own all of it.
Yep.
You own your house 100%. It doesn't matter how much you owe the bank.
Hello?
Yep, Larry froze.
Pros.
Yeah, he's basically saying that you own it and you have full.
That's
title.
100%.
Yeah, you
have
have
the
the
title.
full rights. You have the ownership. They have a lien.
Yeah,
The person
that's
who
the
has the
loan.
title is the owner of the house. Okay,
Yep.
so right now, what they need to do is they need to foreclose on the property in order to get the title from you.
Mhm.
All right, so who has a car loan? Anybody out there have a car loan?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, how much of your car do you own?
All of it.
No.
And we
Do
own
you,
all.
do you have a loan on it? The one who said all of it. Do you have a loan
No,
on
you
it?
don't own it. You don't have the title yet.
You don't have title.
That's right. You own none of it.
And
Nothing.
So if you owe one, as a matter of fact, I swear, this is a really true story. I have a $100,000 Corvette in my driveway right now, in my garage. And my last payment is $500. I'm making it next week. I do not own any of my car, not even one iota of it. They let me drive it while I pay it off.
Right.
All right. So foreclosure is a process
we
used
gotta,
by the
we gotta go on
claim-
the race one day.
right, to claim the title of the property. So now there's something else that I'm going to suggest that you guys do. It's a personal guarantee. So when you go to a loan, when you go to a lender, one of your lenders, and you want to borrow money, there's the house that they can foreclose against, of course, right?
Right.
But maybe they want a little bit more of a guarantee. So a personal guarantee is basically a guarantee by the person signing the documents that they will repay the loan with their own assets if necessary. So you borrow $100,000 from somebody, the house burns down, you forget to insure it, they can go after you personally. Now, as a borrower, I give a personal guarantee because I want them to be assured that I'm going to pay this loan back no matter what happens. Something else that I suggest that you do, and this will help you get a loan, is a confession of judgment. By the way, if you're lending money, you definitely want to do this. A confession of judgment is basically something that says that the person who lent you the money can get the property without having to go to court. Basically, they go to court, they say, here, judge, he has a confession of judgment. The judge says, here, the property's yours. There's no other argument. It's over. So whatever you put in your confession of judgment, I usually put 3 payments. If I miss 3 payments, the property is yours. And by the way, my confession of judgment in the paperwork that I use says that if I miss 3 payments, they get the property, and I also will pay them any cost it would take to put that property in their name. So now you've got 3 documents, right? Think about this. You've got a
No.
promissory note, a mortgage, confession of judgment, and a personal guarantee. Now, when you go to somebody and borrow money from them, hey, that's awesome because they know that you're going to be able to pay them back, or you're going to pay them back. They feel real confident.
Right.
I got a question on that, Larry.
Sure.
Sarah asked, when you say personal guarantee, it could be an entity making the guarantee?
Well, that's not a personal guarantee.
No.
You could that would be the entity guarantee. So, like, I buy my property in a trust. My trust is borrowing the money. Now, so in order to make the person feel more comfortable, I will sign a personal guarantee that says they can come after me also. Now, understand that you can make a choice whether you want to do this or not. It really doesn't matter. But the idea is you're going to make the lender more comfortable if you sign a personal guarantee. So if I borrow money from Nick, for example, and Nick lends me $100,000, and he's not so sure that this property may or may not work out, he says, hey, can you give me a personal guarantee? Now they can come after my Corvette, right? So basically, somebody lends me $30,000. What protection do they have? And they have collateral as protection. So it's funny because I forgot this was I forgot this was in the slides. I just talked about the $100,000 Corvette. There it is. So I could use my cars as collateral, or I can use anything that I own as collateral.
As collateral, right?
The promissory note can I'm sorry? The promissory note can refer to collateral.
Car as collateral. You can't use the car as collateral.
One more
You don't
time.
own it.
One at a time. One at a time.
You
No, assuming,
can't
first of
You
all,
don't own that.
well, first, okay, so this Mercedes I own clear. This motorcycle I own clear. And this one, well, I'll own clear next week. But I got you. You're absolutely right. I have to own it. I have to own it clear. Exactly right.
Right.
So the promissory note can refer to the collateral, or they can hold the title until the obligation of the note has been satisfied. And that's what that's what they do with the car. They hold your title until the note has been satisfied. Sometimes people will actually sign the deed over to the lender, and that deed is being held in trust by an attorney. And basically, it says that if they don't pay it back, they get the deed. They get the deed handed over to them, and they can go file that deed. So let's talk about real estate and how this works. In a real estate transaction, a lender can hold the title or simply put a lien on the title, or both, which is what I just said. By the way, these are the documents that we have on our website. So if you were a student, you could do that. So obviously, you could see this is for our students. All right. But a mortgage and a promissory note can be used to borrow funds borrow funds from everyday ordinary people using their funds, including IRAs and Roth IRAs. This is the most brilliant way for you to get money. All you have to do is ask someone if they have an IRA and what interest rate they're getting on their IRA. Typically, people are getting 3, 4, 5%
Right.
and paying
Right.
2% in fees, which means they're getting nothing. They're getting maybe 3%. And by the way, the IRA itself becomes the lender, not the person. So there are
Right.
prop companies out there like Camaplan who actually can do it. They can actually be the administrator, like Camaplan. They could be the administrator, or any other IRA, self-directed IRA administrator can actually do the paperwork for this. This is a fantastic idea. All you need to do is talk to people. Hey, you have any money in an IRA? Yeah. How would you like to get more money on your IRA than you're getting now? I borrow from people's IRAs all the time. Camaplan gets.
Keep freezing.
No, it doesn't need to be
Probably
self-directed.
get, I don't know, somewhere near 20. What's that? Yeah,
Some
that
of
has to be
this doesn't need to be
self-directed, but
self-directed.
self-directed IRA could easily be doing. By the way, you could do a self-directed Roth, or you could do a self-directed, straight up IRA. And by the way, Camaplan will help you through it at any time, no problem. But do you know anybody with $1.8 million in their IRA? I happen to do know somebody, but that's not the point. Are they going to lend you the money, the $1.8 million for their IRA, from their IRA? So now let's talk about what we're going to do with that. Let's talk about pooling money. Because this, I heard this a couple of times on this about pooling money.
Yep.
And you got to be really careful how you pool money. So you guys, after some of the conversations that we heard tonight, you guys are all tempted to do this, aren't you? Put a post on Facebook that says, hey, I'll give you 8% guaranteed against my real estate if you lend me money from your IRA. And you're going to put that on Facebook, and guess what's going to happen?
I'm going to go to jail.
In about 2 years from now, you're going to go to jail.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right? Right? So you got to be really careful that you do not do this ever, ever, because this is an SEC violation. I see this all the time on Facebook. Don't do this. All right. By the way, I had to post this for 2 seconds just to take the snapshot out of it and take it back off, just because I wanted to be able to take that picture. Okay. Right.
Larry said he's going to do that.
Right. So let's get it right. Let's talk about how to do that, because I think it was the contractor who wanted to talk about pooling money. Right. So here's how we're going to do it. So the Securities Act of 1933 was created to protect investors from the misunderstood or miscommunicated risk of any investment. Regulation D was adopted in 1982, and it's important for us to understand the basics parts of 504, 505, and 506. This is going to be the boring part. Don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about Reg D. Don't worry about 505, 504, 506. Who cares? I just want to impress you with my knowledge. Listen to what's inside here, okay?
Love you, Larry.
So Sarah said SEC regulations don't apply if you are having a single investor.
That's right.
No.
This is, remember, we're now going into pooling money.
Pooling
All
money.
right. Or
How you
advertising.
pay
SEC regulations don't apply if you're not advertising or not pooling money. If you have one-on-one with an investor, you can do anything you want. You don't even need to talk to them. But if you're going to advertise, right, like this, if you're going to advertise like this, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. You're going to get heavy fines, lawsuits, and probably prison time. Now,
Yeah.
understand that if you advertise like
on
this,
Facebook, Nick.
right? Yeah, if you advertise like this and somebody lends you money and you give them the 8% and everything goes well, you're probably not going to go to jail. But it's that moment where you forget to make the payment or don't make the payment, or the property burns down and you forgot the insurance and the guy sues you, and then his attorney realizes that you broke the law. That's when you go to jail. Don't make that mistake.
Nick
All
said,
right.
but how you raise, you have to follow the rules. That's what Nick
Right,
said.
here we go. We're getting there.
False
You know,
advertising.
Okay, we're getting there, people.
I promise you it's in this slide somewhere. I haven't seen these slides in 3 months, but I'm pretty sure they're in there somewhere. All right, so you guys, my favorite president, Obama. Did I say that out loud? Oh my God, no, no. So Obama did two things that I really liked. One was the Jobs Act, and the other one was Obamacare. I'm not going to get into the reasons why Obamacare, but the Jobs Act was fantastic. And inside the Jobs Act, basically that's what it stood for, by the way. It was basically made easier for startups to raise capital. Now, the most important thing is your business must have a gross revenue of less than $1 billion. Nick, I don't think you qualify for this.
No,
so,
I don't think so.
I realize that the rules are different for you because you're doing well over $1 billion. Okay, all right. So as long as your business is less than 1 billion, this information applies to you. So the things to know: first of all, there's something called an accredited investor. Write this down. The words accredited investor. Write this down. This is really important. If you're raising or pooling money, you must know what an accredited investor is. An accredited investor fits this criteria. They have at least $1 million net worth, not including their primary residence. They make it, by the way, it could be either one, any of these three, by the way. So it's not all, it's any of them.
Right. You freeze again?
Yeah, right. We got to put some money together and get him a good internet.
He's in Patsy. What do you want? He's out in the sticks.
They make at least an income of $200,000. If they should have done it from the office, I know the internet here is terrible, but I would have done it from the. So you're looking for an accredited investor. That's the word right there, accredited investor.
Got that.
Okay, and these are if they fit any one of these criteria, they meet the criteria of what's called an accredited investor. All right. So if you're advertising for money, you need to know what an accredited investor is because there are certain specific reasons for that. And I'll explain that in a couple of minutes. All right. The other thing you need to know is something called what's called a private placement memorandum. So have you guys ever heard advertisements on TV, on the radio going, hey, we'll guarantee you 8% and we guarantee that against real estate and blah, 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 blah. Have you guys ever heard those advertisements?
All the time.
Okay. So if you're hearing those advertisements, that's from somebody using a Reg D investment, and they have to send you what's called a private placement memorandum. By the way, have you guys gotten emails from somebody that says, hey, we'll give you 8% on real estate, and then you send an email back and say, okay, really, tell me about this. The second they say, I'm buying a property, they already broke the law. If they advertise in an email or they advertise on Facebook or they send an advertisement or put it on the radio or anything, and
Oh, we definitely we're gonna have to put a whole.
they do not send you a private placement
I saw the
memorandum.
million. I mean, come on. One split.
You're going to tell that guy to stop moving around on the roof.
Keep the aluminum foil going.
Rabbit ears.
All right. So
you-
basically, a private placement memorandum has a description of the investment, the possible and inherent risks of the investment, conditions, statements, and disclosures, managers, principals, and other important participants, financials that are true and accurate. I don't know. Financials that are true. Like Bernie Madoff when he did that.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, wait, I got a quick question.
Sure.
Somebody asked, can an accredited investor married have combined assets of $1 million?
Yes,
Over $1
absolutely.
million?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Accredited investor. Here's where it got tough because they just changed this. Accredited investor must be verified. You could either get a copy of the tax return, which no one's going to give you, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is a letter from their CPA or attorney.
Okay.
And now I don't have an internet site for you, but they have actually what's called a certified verification. There are certain internet sites that give you certified verification. So if you are raising money in a fund, you want one of these three things on file as a accredited investor. Do you have to pay for the certified verification?
Yes.
Of course you do, but who cares? You're raising on $1.8 million, you're going to pay $25 for the verification.
Right.
Listen, this is a business, right? When you open up a fund, so I have one fund running now. I'm opening up 2 more funds. My attorneys cost me anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 for these. All right, relax. We're getting there, Ari. I promise you I'll answer that question because it's coming up. All right? All right. If you openly advertise for investors, you must send them a prospective or the private placement memorandum. If you openly advertise for investors,
Can you hold on for 1 minute there? I have a question regarding the accredited investor.
Yeah.
I heard recently that there's something in works. I don't think it's been passed yet, but new rules besides the 3 that you have mentioned have been there for a while. There's supposed to be a variation on that coming up soon. Have you heard of that? Are you familiar with that?
Well, I think you're talking about, and I always mix it up, I think it's a C, not a D. But I'm getting into something that may be answering your question, but I'm not sure what you're referring
I'm not talking about sophisticated. It's a different thing.
Okay.
I have notes on it somewhere, but I don't know where they are.
I don't either. Yeah, honestly, I don't know.
Licensed.
Yeah.
if you have certain licenses, they'll let you say that you're. It's not. It's in the works.
It's in the works. I don't think it's
Yeah.
happened yet. Yeah.
Oh, actually, no. Okay, so here's what it is. I know what you're talking about. It's the employee of an accredited investor. You can do employee of someone who's an accredited investor. You could do it. I have that. I actually, it was funny. My attorney sent it to me, and I read it, and I go, "Why is this a big deal?" He goes, "Oh, it's a really big deal." I go, "Why?" And he tried to explain it to me, basically based on the fact that if you're an employee of an accredited investor and you want to get into there, and so if I have a fund, and here's what it is. I think this is what you're talking about. If I have a fund and one of my employees wants to get in on the fund, they can now get in on a fund because they are an employee of mine. That might be what you're talking about. Is that it?
That's not it. No.
Okay, because that was the biggest thing I saw that
Okay.
changed recently, and I thought it was useless. But that's fine.
So it's someone that's licensed, like a licensed professional, like a certain securities license, or if you're like a CFA, then they're
Yeah, there are
It might
rules
be.
that are opening it up to more people.
It might
It's a
be.
general gist of it.
Okay, it might be, sure. All right, so here's the thing that you're going to do is never guarantee an interest rate. You'll also notice in those commercials, if you've heard them, they say our targeted return rate is 8%,
Mhm.
which makes me laugh because I listen to these commercials and they sneak it in so easy, so carefully that they make you think you're getting 8%. Okay. Now that, by the way, we've been discussing Section 506B, so Regulation D, Section 506B. This is not what you guys are going to do, probably, because you're probably not going to create a fund until you get big. I'm creating funds now because I'm almost as big as Nick Tang. All right. So basically, as we said before, they for Reg D 506B, they must be accredited investors. You must send them a private placement memorandum, and if advertising, you must have a prospectus. So these are things that you must do if you're going to advertise. But let's move on, because let's talk about grandma's $50,000.
Yeah, that's
Right? And that's what,
That's what I'm talking about.
we're all talking about. Exactly right. So basically, 506C makes an exception to the accredited investors rule. How this will work is if you have an established relationship with the investor,
Mhm.
you can have a maximum of 35 non-accredited investors, and you can't advertise. In other words, you can create a fund, right? So you could have 35. You could have. By the way, you could have an unlimited amount of investors. You could have 150 investors, but no more than 35 of them can be non-accredited investors. And you cannot advertise. So I can't go on the radio.
There we go again.
he lost again.
saying,
That's
"Hey, I'm
why
going
it
to be
takes
8%."
40
I just can't do
minutes.
it.
Yeah.
So this,
So
You can
yeah,
Larry
probably.
asked-
you can't advertise the rate and what you're doing, but you can advertise that you have a fund.
right.
No.
you could advertise a target return or expected return. Just can't. The guaranteed
Yeah.
return is a big
Guaranteed,
no-no.
right.
Can't say guaranteed.
Slow down. This is different. Okay, wait, stop. Not
Larry, you're breaking up if you can hear me.
Larry, you got to get
Yeah.
wired internet,
Yeah.
not Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no, you can't advertise to. Actually, there is a Reg A fund where you can advertise.
This is a relationship that you must have. You guys all there?
Yep.
Yeah,
Fine.
we're
I'm
here.
not sure you
Good to
are.
see.
We're here. You're not here.
All right, are we still here?
You're back.
Do you guys still have me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, you can't advertise for a 506C, and you can't get non-accredited investors in a 506C. I'm sorry, in a 506B. In a 506C, you can get non-accredited investors. These are conversations. So every single one of you, I can now say to you, hey, if you guys want to invest, no problem. You guys could come in because I have a relationship with you. However, that's not necessarily true. Because I have to have a relationship. I have to be able to prove the relationship with you, and I can't pitch you the day I see you. So I'm not pitching you right now. What I'm doing is I'm telling you that I do this. Then we maybe have another meeting and we talk about how to
Right.
do it. You
Right.
cannot advertise, and the maximum is 35 non-accredited investors.
And this is if you're doing a fund. This isn't just,
Yeah.
hey, I need
This is a
50K
fund,
for a
right.
project.
This is pooling. Yes, it's a fund.
This is if I want to get all your money together and create a fund. All right. And you must have an established relationship with the investor, which is basically what I said. However, this is vague. The the definition of an established relationship with an investor is vague. And it basically means that you had to have not gone there and said, hey, Scott, first time I met you, I want to borrow money from you. And I want to put your money in a fund. You can't do that. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to meet you. I want to talk to you and say, hey, let's have lunch tomorrow. We have lunch. Hey, let's play golf tomorrow. And then the next day we play golf. And then at that point, if I met with you 3 times, have nothing to do with asking you for money, I can now ask you for money. I now have an established relationship. So be careful. Don't ask for money on the day you meet somebody.
Gotta butter them up a little.
There's a couple questions.
Sure.
One was, now it's scrolling off the screen. One was about crowdfunding.
So
Different animal.
yeah,
What about all the
it is
crowdfunding sites? They are open to everyone, accredited or not.
Yeah, but those are the places you're gonna put like 10 or 15 bucks
Yeah.
in. But I'm not
Yeah,
looking to. I'm
that's-
looking
yeah.
to fund my deals, not crowdfund for other deals. I
Right.
want your money. I want your 200,000. I want your 100,000. I want your 50,000. Right?
Can
That's
you
what you're
have-
going to use this.
Yeah. Can you have multiple funds? And if so, does each
Yes.
one allow 35 non-accredited investors?
Yes, absolutely. So the maximum is 35 non-accredited investments. Don't forget, you can have as many investors as you want, but 35 of them have to be non-accredited. By the way, the non-accredited, the 35 non-accredited have to have what's the word? Somebody said it before.
Sophisticated.
What was it?
Sophisticated.
Sophisticated. Yeah, thank you. Sophisticated. Basically,
You have to
it's
have
someone.
knowledge.
It's someone who, like, who finished 6th grade. Really,
Right.
no, really, someone who has done anything else but put money in a bank is
Yes.
probably my definition of it. You just want to be a little careful, because you want.
Larry, yes, you could create multiple funds and
Yes.
each have 30 up to 35
Yes.
in
Yes.
each one.
Right. And remember, though, every time you create a fund, it costs you money.
Right.
So
Big
it'll
money.
probably cost you. So I have a guy who does our funds. Matter of fact, he's speaking. I should tell you guys about this. That we have an event this Saturday, and my attorney is going to be speaking about this and in a much deeper way. All right. Here we said, like I said, suggest 3 meetings maximum. Advertise that. So if you wanted to do a fund, so let's say Nick wanted to do a fund, he wants to do it with people he's never met. The first thing you're going to do is advertise that you will teach private money. You will teach how to lend people private money, but you won't ask to borrow money. Then have 2 meetings that don't ask for money, as we just said. All right. So 506C allows unlimited participants. However, again, the maximum of non-accredited participants is 35. All right. So typically you're looking for a 506B or C fund anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000. And also make sure that your attorney knows what he's doing, because if he
Yep.
does it wrong, you're going to jail. So once again, you want to make sure that you do this. Now, look, if you're going to be raising $100,000, don't create a fund.
No.
That's
No.
kind of a waste of money, right? You want to be able to do this. By the way, who's the hard money lender? Adam?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've done this, right? This is what you do.
Yeah, we have an attorney.
Yeah.
Costs around 10, 15 grand, depending on if you want expedited. It's not rocket science. Honestly, that private placement, it's a lot of legal jargon.
Right.
But it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
And what I do is, like, if I ever have a question, I email the attorney, have him put it in writing. So
Right. So basically what Adam does is
Yeah.
he borrows money from people and then lends it to you. I mean, no, he doesn't borrow money. He puts people in a fund and he lends it to you. So maybe he says to these people, hey, while the money's out, I'll give you 8%. And then he charges 12%. I don't know what you charge, but I'm just using that as an example, right? He charges 12, 15, whatever he charges, doesn't matter. And then he makes money on that. And he also makes money on the points, because he doesn't give, he may not, and by the way, it depends on how your fund is set up. He may not give the people in the fund the points. He gets the points, and that's how he makes money. In fact, most hard money lenders, the biggest thing that they want to do is they want to churn their money, because the more they churn it, the more money they make. And by the way, don't be ashamed of it, Adam. Go, yeah!
that's the nature of the business. You're absolutely
Hey,
right.
I'm
That's
all
what
about making money. That's what I
That's
do.
what I discovered a long time ago. It's like
Well,
you make more money churning it than holding
think-
it.
Yeah.
I think there's a confusion here, because right now what we're talking about is pooling money.
Right.
Like
To
Tony
use on a
said,
deal.
to use on a bigger deal. And generally when you have multiple people in on
Sure.
even a single family home, or like Tony's asking, I wouldn't need this for a 4-unit family. In reality, you can do it that way, but
So
you
everybody
could do
asks
it
the
a
question
different
I'm
way.
about to answer.
So the
funny.
one thing is, you could, but make sure those people are really close to you, like your friend, your uncle, your
All right.
father.
We
Hold
should
on.
make
Hold
sure
on.
our family is.
Let's go there. Let's go to that. Let's say it's a
There you go.
$200,000 building, not a $1.8 million building. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
Let's say I just want a dozen friends to buy this building, right? So all of you guys online, you want to come in with me and you're going to lend me the money to buy this building, right? I'm going to buy the building. I run it. I'm everything. You're not a partner. You all want to be lenders together. You all say together, there's 18 of you, and you all say, I'm going to give you $100,000 each. Each one of you is going to give me $100,000. And there's been no fund created. There's been no advertising created.
Mhm.
I'm just going to go to you guys and say, hey, listen, here, give me $100,000 each, and that'll be $1.8 million to buy this building. This is the easiest way to do it. You're going to create an LLC. Basically, the dozen friends, in this case, it was $150,000 to invest. They can all be members of the LLC and share the risks and responsibilities of the LLC. So the LLC gets formed, and when the LLC is formed, they all buy shares in the LLC.
Yep.
So each one of these people, and not the LLC of the building, by the way, the LLC of the lending company
Right.
that you create. So
You're
let's
talking
say it's
all debt, no equity on that.
correct, exactly correct. So the LLC becomes the lender, and all the members of the LLC contributed to the LLC to become the lender. That's how they do it with an LLC. By the way, I have one fund that is an LLC. That's all it is. It's an LLC, and people all contributed into it, and it has rules, and they have to follow. And I have to follow those rules as the LLC. The LLC must have an operating agreement. Don't make this mistake and don't do an operating agreement. You will also go to jail. Each person must have a role. Now, this is where it gets a little weird. Each person must have a role, but the person role may just be that they, I don't know, they deliver coffee. Now, I'm being a little facetious, but they deliver coffee to, to me when they come in. All right. Yeah, there you go. Chief bottle washer. Exactly. But just understand that they must have a role, right? Each person is a member and an owner of the LLC. So they own a piece, they own a share. Okay. Major decisions must be made by all the members. This is where people screw up. And this is where it gets a little difficult. So let's say this entire LLC is now going to lend money to me. Now, I'm not in the LLC, and let's say I made Maddie or Maddie decided to be the manager of the LLC. So he's the guy I talk to directly and say, hey, listen, Maddie, this is what's going on. By the way, this building that I have, that's $1.8 million. Hey, I'm about to do something that might lower the value temporarily, and I just wanted to let you know. Now, I let him know because he's the lender, and maybe because the lending documents say that I have to let him know. Now, he has to go to all the members and say, listen, this is what Larry's about to do. I want to make sure this is okay with you, and there has to be a quorum, or they have to all be there, depending on what the documents say. Or if the documents say that Maddie can make all the decisions no matter what, which, by the way, is a bad idea, can make all the decisions no matter what, then he can make the decision. Yeah, just go ahead, go for it. But don't forget now, Maddie's responsible. So just so you know, in case this happens for me, I actually have two LLCs. So when I create this LLC that I'm going to, so let me even give you the example. So I have one LLC that I trade stock options in. Look at that. I have one LLC that I trade stock options in. So I have a bunch of people who gave me money, and they all bought shares in my LLC that I trade stock options in. And it has all these rules. And basically, I have another LLC that manages this LLC. So I am the sole member of this LLC, and this LLC manages this LLC. You guys want to know why I did that? Because these people over here can only sue this LLC now. Unless I commit fraud, which I won't. But unless I commit fraud, they can only sue this LLC. So this LLC, what kind of assets does it have? Nothing, exactly. So understand, if you're going to do that, if you want to be a manager of an LLC, you might want to manage it through another LLC management company. So I have a management company called COT Management that covers that I manage my LLCs through. Again, I know. Again,
Delaware, created Delaware.
By the way, it happens to be the management company happens to be a Delaware. It's funny, but you're absolutely right. So the major decisions have to be made by the members. I know I went off on a tangent, but I just want you to know. Yeah. The meetings also must be held on a regular basis. Now, they could be anywhere. Don't even worry about it. They could be held online. They could be held in 5 minutes. They could be held over a cup of coffee. You might want to take notes, though, just to prove that that the meeting actually took place. The members get a K-1 for tax reporting. Everybody know what a K-1 is? If you don't worry about it. Your attorney and your accountant know. So it doesn't matter. You don't need to know. You need to know how to form an LLC, which is not hard. You need to know how to create an operating agreement, which is not hard. By the way, you could do the whole thing for less than $5,000, typically with an attorney, because this is very simple. All right, and they get a K1 for tax reporting. And when you use the LLC, the purpose is basically it could be anything. It could be anything. By the way, the purpose of the LLC could be anything the members agree to, and as long as the law allows. So you can't form an LLC for something that's illegal, of course. All right, so that's a simple thing. The LLC becomes the lender, and basically it's real simple. The operating agreement determines the rules of the distributions and how it works. And I'm going to tell you something else. Raising money is a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake. It's the easiest thing to do when you have a deal. Somebody said it earlier. When you have the right deal, raising money is easy. Look, I kind of ran through this really fast, and I apologize, but the reason I did it was because I knew that I typically give this presentation in well over an hour, and I ran through the whole thing in less than 40 minutes, as I promised. But listen, if you guys want to find out more, there's two things you can do. One is you can go to investorschooling.com. Let me give you a link real quick. But I'm going to tell you something else I got going on this week that is kind of cool.
Everything
So
you do.
investorschooling.com, you can go there, or you can go here, www.4mmw.com. We're doing a all-day conference on Saturday. So it's, you guys want a coupon for it for free? I'll give you a coupon for it for
I'm
free.
sure there's going to be
Here's
a bunch
the
of people
coupon
that
code
would
for free.
Wait, it's this
Coupon
Saturday?
code. So will you go to number 4mmw.com? What?
What was the link again?
Wording it by any chance?
It's in the chat.
Okay.
I put it in the chat. Right. So,
MMW.com.
right.
That's for
The
this
coupon code
Saturday.
is money.
Oh,
And you guys can go for free.
Yep. And
All right.
now, Larry, this Saturday, is that just in person or are you having it online also?
It's both.
Okay.
Because you know why? Because some of you people are still afraid of the big bad COVID.
Some people can't make it all the way to your school on Saturday.
That's the other thing. Some people might not be able to
No,
make
I know.
attend the whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's, so
Nate, I can't make it, but I can Zoom.
but I also will promise you that my Zoom at my office will not be interrupted like this one was. I didn't expect that. If I would have known I was going to be honest, and I just happened to be scrolling by, but if I would have known I was going to be honest, I would have done it from the office, so you guys would have had a better internet connection.
One
Well,
thing
we're
that
glad
Larry
you popped in.
one thing that Larry mentioned was that's very important, is go find the deal. I would really focus on trying to find the deal. Obviously talk to people that but go find the deal. Once you find the deal and lock it up, maybe you put it under contract and you're controlling it, the money will come. Somehow you're gonna figure out the money's you'll find the money, you'll find a partner.
Right.
Go learn how to find the deal, and then everything else is.
So many people make this mistake, and here's the mistake they make. Hey, Nick, I'm thinking I might be maybe be a kind of maybe sort of real estate investor, kind of maybe kind of. Would you kind of maybe lend me money if I kind of find a kind of house that might be kind of a good investment, kind of
Right.
Don't do that. Okay.
You give them
No.
money right away, right, Nick?
Right? That's what all the beginners do. Look, I have hundreds of students, and we have. By the way, this is what we do. We teach this. I don't know if you guys know who I am, but whatever. We teach this to students. We have a real school, a real classroom. This is what we do. This is all we do. We teach stock options and real estate investing and money management and all that kind of credit building, all that kind of crap. But I have the same thing all the time. They do the same exact thing. They say. What about how do I get a deal if I don't have money? Okay, you guys ready? How much money do you need to get a deal? Anybody know?
Zero.
Yep, zero. Okay,
Get the deal and the
ready?
money will come.
You guys ready? How would you like to know about a story about a guy who had a 420 credit score and bought a $250,000 cash flowing building for $1,700?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm
Sure.
not going to give you that story because it's a whole other presentation.
That's a whole other presentation.
But I had a
Right,
420 credit score in 2009. 420. I
That's
bought
the
a
one
building.
that you
I
must
bought a
work
building
hard
a year later. What's that?
I said, you must work hard to get that. That's not easy to do, 420.
No, it's not.
You're on the run.
Yeah, right. So just understand that you don't need credit and you don't need money.
Yep.
And once you realize that you don't need credit and money, there's no other reason why you shouldn't be buying buildings. All you need to do is find the deal. If you find the deal, it's a piece of cake. Anybody here want to ask me how I can prove to them real quickly, like hasn't done a deal ever? if anybody on here hasn't done a deal ever and is concerned about finding a deal and wants me to give them a perfect example to prove to them that they can find money anytime, just shoot it out.
Anybody that hasn't done a deal here?
Anybody haven't done a deal? There you
All
go.
right, Chris and Rose, unmute your
Rose.
microphone.
Unmute yourself.
All right, you want total proof that you could find a deal. You muted it again somehow. You want total proof right now that you could find money for any deal?
Sure.
All right, here we go. This is it. You ready?
Ready.
What's your favorite car, Chris?
I like your Corvette.
All right, so that's a Corvette Z06, 7-speed, 650 horsepower. All right. When it was brand new, it was $100,000. So let's go with that scenario. So the day I buy my car, the day I buy it, you're my next door neighbor, and the day I buy it, I pull into my driveway. I walk into my house, and my wife says, "You son of a bitch, that's the last straw. You spent money without talking to me again. I bought it cash. You spent money without talking to me again. That's it. I'm filing for divorce tomorrow, and I'm getting that Corvette." I walk out of the house, and I'm like, and you see me outside, and you want, "What's going on, Larry?" Tell you what, Chris. Tell you what I'm going to do right now. I've got this Z06 Corvette. That's the greatest Corvette ever made that you're going to love. And I don't want my wife to have it because she's filing for divorce tomorrow. I'll sell it to you right now for $50,000. What are you going to do, Chris?
Find $50,000.
How quickly do you think you can find $50,000? Because by tomorrow, I'm going to find another buyer. Okay.
Motivation.
Let's talk about this one.
Yep.
What if you said, because you are a business mindset, not the guy who wants the car, that, wait a minute, Larry paid $100,000 for this car.
Right.
I would bet that Nick would buy it for $80,000 tomorrow, right, Nick? He'd buy that car for $80,000 tomorrow, right? Right? He $100,000 car. Nick gets it. It's 1 day old. It's got 10 miles on it. He buys the car for $80,000. I paid $100,000. You could have it for 50, right?
Yeah.
So here you go. You go. Hey, Scott. Listen, man. Nick wants to buy this car from that I've got. I got the title in my hand. I need $50,000 to give to Larry right now. He goes, Scott, listen, man. Give me $50,000. I sell it to Nick tomorrow. I'll give you $50,000 back, and I'll split the difference. You get $15,000 on your money, and I get to keep $15,000. Hey, Scott, if you had $50,000 and you knew all this was true and there was nothing illegal about it and everything was good, how quickly would you give him that $50,000?
Pretty quick.
No.
I've got 3
In
days.
5 seconds. All right? Now, why is that so difficult to not understand that you could do the same exact thing with a house?
Yep.
I find a house that's worth $200,000 that I could buy for $100,000. Hey, Nick, you want to lend me $100,000? I already got a buyer. I got Chris who's going to buy it for $200,000 tomorrow. And I'll tell you what, we'll split the proceeds.
Yep.
Nick's getting me that money in 5 seconds. That's how you raise money. This is the problem. And this is what you guys are doing. The real estate agent told me that this house is worth $100,000 and I can get it for $95,000. I think that's a really good deal. That's why you can't find money.
Yep.
Stop looking at houses that way. You walk into a house that's worth $100,000. Anybody know? Anybody know what the maximum allowable offer that I would give somebody for a house that ARV is worth $100,000? Good. Give me all your formulas.
30,000.
Come on, Chris. The house ARV is $100,000. What's the maximum amount of money I'm going to offer that person?
60.
60,000?
Depends on how much work does it need?
Well, that's a good question. Let's say it needs $30,000 worth of work.
Okay.
How much am I going to offer?
40.
All right.
Minus your wholesaling fee.
Let's do your math, Chris. All right. $100,000 is the ARV, right? It needs $30,000 worth of work. I'm going to offer 40. That's $70,000 before closing costs, before money, before anything. And you're gonna if you did some math on that, you probably walk away with, if you're lucky, $15,000. All right. So here's the numbers that you're going to need to learn. in a wholesale deal or in a deal that you're going to buy wholesale, don't worry about wholesalers because that's a different thing. In the money you're going to buy, that you're a wholesale, that you're going to buy the property, renovate it, and then sell it. This is the numbers you need to know. 65% of the ARV minus the repair costs is the maximum you're going to pay somebody. So 65,000 minus 30 is 35,000 is the maximum you're going to pay somebody. Now, if you're a wholesaler, that's the maximum somebody's going to buy the property from me from. What's the maximum I'm going to offer the person if I want to wholesale it to you, Chris? I'm going to sell it to you for 35,000. So I've got to buy it for less, right?
Right. 25.
25,000. That would be my number. That would be the maximum I'd offer somebody with an ARV property, 25,000 and these $30,000 worth of work. If you know these numbers, it gets really easy fast.
Number work on
that was well
like $1 million houses also, or is that just for the smaller stuff?
$1 million houses? So hey, look, you could.
Yeah, did you still use
So
that
here-
same
so-
formula, or do you use a different formula?
Same
Yeah,
formula.
here's the formula I use. You ready? Here's the formula I use. ARV's $1 million. See you next.
Yeah.
Stay away. That's the formula I
You want to
use.
stick to, you got to cater to the masses. Try to find a $1 million buyer.
No, let me explain why. Let me explain why, Harry. Because here's the thing: if you buy a $1 million house, and let's say you use that same formula, right? Let's say it needs $100,000 worth of work. You pay $650, $550. I pay $550 for it, right? Now I borrowed money from Adam at 15%, whatever he charges, right? And it's $500,000 that I borrowed. That's a hell of a lot of money I'm paying every month, right?
Yeah.
If I make one mistake on that property, by the time I sell it, if I'm lucky, I might make 50 to 100 grand. Might, right? But the stress and the involvement, Adam may own that property before I finish it. If I don't get
There's a lot of
credit time.
risk.
Right. So I'm not touching it. I don't want those deals. And they're harder to sell. So I want to stick with properties between 100 and 300,000.
$700,000 property now.
What's that?
I stepped in. I said I went into my first deal, which was supposed to be a simple rehab. Then it kind of became a more involved rehab, and then I ran into FEMA 50, and now it's a knockdown.
Yeah.
And this is Naples Park, so it's a $700,000 house minimum.
Oh, God. So this is why we say that the price of our school is cheaper than your first mistake.
Yep.
Right.
I mean it. I mean,
Make mistakes, though.
it happens all the time.
100%. The number one investment is in yourself. Number one investment.
Education.
I get people all the time that come to me and they've made such major mistakes that sometimes there's no turning back. Hey, Nick, actually, remember? I don't want to mention her name, but Nick had one who, he gave me a referral, and she joined the school and she starts telling me about this situation, I guess, if you want to call it, where literally this woman was thieving from people. She was taking money from all these people and putting. There was no fund. There was nothing. She was taking money and lying to these people, and I got her money back. Now, not everybody was as lucky, but she was my student, so I coached her on how to get her money back. And
I actually went to the DA and helped them figure out that big mess.
Yeah, the DA called me on it too and said, how did you know? And it was really funny. You guys ever read the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell? Good book. Good book, right? So in this book, he talks about how someone just knows something. And the slightest little thing, piece of dust or something, can make you realize that that's a forgery. And the second I looked at this person's paperwork, I said, "You were had," and it was really simple.
Wow.
And the paperwork was not great, but it wasn't like it could have been good, but there was definitely some serious problems.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Oh yeah,
there's people that sent money without even paperwork. That's how crazy it was.
Yeah. So you guys enjoy that?
Hey, Larry, I got one more question for you.
Sure.
So if you're looking at doing a wholesale, I understand, that whole mentality. But now if you're going to say make it your first flip, are you putting into there what that hard money is going to cost you? If you're paying any taxes for 6 months, all that good stuff before putting your offer in?
If you want to.
Good.
I would say.
Okay.
I would say.
All right. So you're an amateur. You're doing it for the first time. Yeah, be cautious. I mean, I could look, I could look at a deal now, and within seconds, I could tell you approximately how much I'm going to make, and whether I'm going to buy the deal or not. And that's it. It's not rocket science. You gotta have the biggest thing you have to do is buy the property right, and secondly, know your costs for renovations. This is where guys like Joey come in, right? Joey, if you don't have the right person doing your work for you, or you don't have a good contractor, or you don't have contractors that work for you, you're going to lose money fast, and you don't want to do that.
Nope.
It's all about making money. I mean,
You don't want to lose money, that's for sure.
And one thing you want to keep in mind is like absolutely like you want to have a good contractor like Joey to help you with the renovation costs. And then let's say you're looking to wholesale a deal or find money, you want to put together a nice presentation and know your numbers and make it professional so people take you seriously. You don't want to look like an amateur,
One of the education systems talks about having a credibility packet, and when you go to ask for money, to have a pamphlet, a brochure about yourself, about your company, your experience, whatever you can.
Yeah, let me
make
tell
it
you.
look professional.
Do you sell that program, Ari? Do you sell that program, Ari?
I do not.
Okay, good, because I'm going to make fun of the program. All right. Now I ask. I used to not ask, and people like Nick would make fun of me. All right, you ready? Let me tell you how many pamphlet and presentations I've ever given when I borrowed money. 0. Okay? It's all about the deal and how I can present the deal. Matter of fact, do I have it? Wait, hold on. I can present the deal in seconds, and I can get money every single time as long as I have a good property. I mean, I gave you guys the scenario before with the car, right? Did anybody talk about, let me show you the pictures of the car. No, nobody said any of that. They all did the same exact thing. They said, no problem, I'll give you the money instantly. I need to see if I can find this. I saved this on my phone, and you know how it is. Apple makes this so difficult to find, but I want to show you how quick and how easy you can get money
Apple doesn't make
that
it
will blow your mind. All right, any of you guys have any other questions while I scan for this?
So basically, yeah.
All right, Nick. Thanks for
All right,
coming
Nick.
on. Nick has to
Love
leave.
you.
Thanks
Wait,
for staying.
don't turn me off until I show you this, because you guys are going
Have
to
a
be blown away
bite
by
for
this.
me while you're eating, because I'm starving.
What's that?
Thank you.
Say that one more time. All
Nick,
right, hold on. I got to show you this, because if you want to talk about how easy it is to get money, you will remember this forever if I can find it. I'm getting there.
See, he's complaining that it's Apple. He forgot where he put it.
Apple's
Yeah, right.
easier to work with. So
I use Android.
yeah,
I'm an
I
Android.
I use
Android.
real technology.
I
I
know, right?
hate Androids. I can't
Yeah,
find
well, this
anything
used
on
to be
it.
it used to be easy until I got thousands of pictures on here.
Yeah, Apple fan.
I have a girl, her name is Sarah. She solves this problem for me.
Which one? What's that?
That girl, I said I have a girl, her name is
He-
Sarah. She
Now you-
solves this problem for me.
Now you're breaking up.
Yeah, you in Florida?
I'm down in Florida right now working on this, but Sarah is my partner in crime. She's up in Pennsylvania, and I don't worry about where I put things. She solves that problem for me, because if I remember, it's hopeless. But she's got the brain of her brain is a trap, and she's the most organized person on the face of the earth. So I leave it for her.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
I'm going to show you this.
See it.
I don't know if you can read it. Is it backwards?
You can't see it.
This
can't
is
see
a
it.
text
Okay.
message. All right, this is a text message, right? Can you see it? I need $60,000 for a deal. Interested? What do they say?
7%.
Interested in loaning at me at 7%? How long? Security, right? Then it says first position on a property with about $80,000. I'm looking for 5 years. Then she says payments or interest only, and then I say either is fine, and then she says tentatively yes. Please send me the comps. So, wait, how long did that take? You guys ever have a text message conversation?
Yep.
Okay, so how long did that text message conversation take?
I didn't
Me?
time it. You want to try it
yeah.
again?
Maybe
Oh.
8 minutes?
Couple seconds.
Couple minutes.
Yeah, I
So,
raised,
but
right.
But that's a relationship. That's a relationship play.
that's
You're
a
right.
relationship, yeah. If they don't
Well,
have
it all depends on
relationships,
how fast your fingers are
Of course.
typing.
Right, of course. So that's the whole point is you want to build relationships. You want to
Right.
prove that you can do what you're going to do. You want, and it was that simple. I had another person, and I'll just give you one more story because it's kind of funny, right? I had somebody who I asked for $75,000 on a deal to purchase the property. So I said to him, hey, listen, I need $75,000 on a deal. This is the situation, blah, 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 blah. And he said, fine, I'll come over your house tomorrow and we can discuss it. No joke. He walks into my house. He sits down at the table and doesn't even say hi. Takes out a check and throws it on the table, $75,000. I immediately handed the check back to him and said, this is not how it works. You need to give this to the title company, and I need to give you a security instrument against this $75,000 so you don't get screwed. That's how easy it is to find money. By the way, right now, I have 5 people who want to lend me anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000, and I just don't have properties for them. That's how you can do it. You just have to start to talk to people and let them know that you're available, that you're by the way, would anybody here lend me money? Anybody here think I know what I'm doing?
Sure.
Forget you, Adam. Your rates are too high.
We're like
Wait, you got to fill out his forms. You got to fill out the form, show them your W-2.
no
Yeah,
W-2
forget
with us. No W-2.
Forget that, right? So nobody ever asked me for my credit score. Nobody ever asked me for my job W-2s. Nobody ever asked me for anything. Nobody ever even asked me to prove she asked me for comps, by the way. I verbally gave her comps. I said, the one next door sold for 80, the one blah, blah, blah. She goes, okay, great, no problem. So when I did that, right? That was it. And she showed up. Some people show up at closing because they feel better when they show up at closing. She showed up at closing. I don't care. It doesn't even matter. But the paperwork was already done. She needed to do nothing. It's that easy to raise money. All you got to do is find the deal. Hey, Scott, I'd totally appreciate that you let me hijack your entire presentation.
Well, that was so funny because somebody has been on Facebook over here, and he just said, only when you have a relationship, not for the new money or big money, but please follow the SEC rules. He said, what's up, my friends? Next time he will come and crash the party. Say hi to Dan.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. So it's funny. So Dan loves my presentation actually, because part of my, every once in a while, I reach out to experts and they say, hey, I'm about to say this. Is this right? And Dan, that presentation, there was 2 points in that presentation. I called Dan and said, hey, is this right? And he made a minor change to make it right. But yeah, so Dan, by the way, that's all he teaches is how to raise private money. So Dan Satowski, great guy. All he teaches is how to raise private money. Was he watching? Is that what it was?
Yeah, he's watching on Facebook.
Yeah, he's watching on Facebook.
He's a busy guy right now. He's running for
I know,
Senate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Senate? I don't even know.
I think he's Senate down in Delaware.
He's an awesome guy. We're really good friends. He's actually presented by the way, Scott, Tabitha, anybody else here? Nick, because I am so anti-COVID and so anti-mask and so pissed off at the way we're all being treated. If any one of you wants to use my facility for a real estate investing seminar or a raising private money seminar or for a presentation on how to raise private money, from now to the end of the year, I will give it to you for free.
Okay.
Well,
I know.
Free.
And if you check Larry out, he did a presentation on masks, no masks, with petri dishes.
Yeah, I actually did. Follow therealscience.com. I'm not putting that in. I'm not putting that.
Yeah,
in.
and it was interesting.
I'd rather you guys come to investor schooling than watch my video.
Yeah.
But follow therealscience.com.
The mask, the COVID stuff, but it was really good.
I proved that masks do nothing.
Yeah, it was good. You had a doctor and a respiratory technician on there to, it wasn't BS stuff like just people talking. It was really good. Interesting information.
My other personality.
So to feed on what Larry was saying is it's once you build relationships, it makes it easy to get the funds. To start, if you don't have relationships, you start telling people what you're doing. If you have great projects or houses, it'll be easy to find the funds.
You have relationships. Wait, listen. This is the other problem. You guys think you don't have relationships. Everybody pick up this right here. Pick this up right now. Pick up your phone.
And start talking to people. Yes.
Okay, you ready?
Talking to Eric.
Hold
I
on.
can't pick it
Anthony,
up.
how many contacts do you have in your phone?
50, 100.
About 1,000.
Okay, great. Anybody have less than 10? Right? Every single person in your phone is a potential lender. Go back to the scenario that I talked to Chris about. The car. The $100,000 car you can buy for $50,000. You're going to sell it the next day for $80,000. You already have the buyer. How many people on your phone are you going to call?
You should talk to
Everyone until
everybody.
somebody says, here's the 50 grand.
Yep.
Okay? If you don't think that works, you're making a big mistake.
And
That
for
won't work.
for Matty, you're a contractor, so they know you know what you're doing when it comes to renovation work.
Right.
It's just, and that's what I was saying. Like, you just need to tell everybody what you're doing, and that's the people in your phone. Hey, I'm working on projects now. I got this contracting business. You know, I'm looking for somebody to invest with me. That's it. And somebody's going to be like, really, what are you doing? And what do you need?
Right. Right.
Because you've been doing, I mean, it's not like you're a contractor for 6 months.
Right.
You know, if you've been around, you have the experience, you have the knowledge, you know how to work on the house. It's like a no-brainer for these people, because when you're doing the renovation work, they see it going, that's beautiful. Now you're going to tell them, yeah, I'm looking for people to get in with me on projects. They're going to jump at that. It's going to be that simple, like Larry said. You just call them up. They're going to be like,
The
really
expert.
looking for money on projects? You're doing it by yourself now? Great, I'm in. You know, you'll be like Nick. Sorry, I already got the funds. Hey, there's 50 more people looking to lend you money, but you got to get another project now. You're going to be like Larry. I got all this money, but no projects.
Right.
True.
Well, I appreciate that.
And for anybody else, that's what it is. You need to just tell everybody that you know what you're doing. And anytime you meet somebody new, you tell them what you're doing.
Yep.
You
Hey,
know?
that's how I got one of my private lenders. I was walking by and I just says, hey, yeah, you got $50,000 to lend me for a rehab?
So now that we know how to find the money, when are we going to learn a little bit about finding the best deals out there?
That's another
How
night.
about
You want to know how to find
Next
deals,
month
Chris?
That's the secret sauce.
You want to know how to
do
find
that
deals?
next month. We could
Yeah,
do
we could have
that
one on
next
that
month.
next month.
You know, we decided last week we're not going to do this because our governor sucks. We can't do it in person. So we'll do that next year. We'll look to start meetings in person next year. So we're going to come up with a topic next month, and that might be it: finding deals, finding off-market deals,
Now we
finding
found
good
the funds.
deals.
What about finding a deal and how to structure it with private money? Because there's so many different ways to.
Oh, there's so many different ways you could structure a deal with
I
funds.
guess
Period.
I have a hint that Larry might come and crash again next month.
I'll crash anytime you want.
That's what I love. I love the structuring part. That's fun.
Yeah, you have to structure the deals. You have to know how to break. Like Larry said, one of the biggest things with a deal is, to me, the first step is knowing your market. It means you know what the value of the property is, and then you work backwards from there. You know, like Larry just talked about with his money. What am I going to offer on this house? I know it's worth this. How much work does it need? What would I make an offer on? Because what's the profit there? So you have to know your numbers that way too, to know if it's a deal or not.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to find the deals first, right? But deals are not always found; they're made.
Yeah.
The only one thing you want to keep in mind
Very
is
true.
what you're talking about is for like typically like a flip. If you want long-term money, like 10-year money or
That's
30, then you're gonna need to eventually go to a lender that
Yeah.
somehow
I
become.
think Chris is talking about just a regular
Mhm.
flip, get a house, rehab it, flip it, or wholesale
Yeah.
it.
But what about if you want a burr? You want to buy it.
Oh, don't.
Go to a
don't-
different
please,
lender or a bank at that
Please,
point
nobody
to
do the
refinance.
burr method. Nobody do the burr
What,
method.
what about me where I'm not necessarily looking for a deal? I'm creating the deal.
Exactly what I
I'm
said.
getting a house that's, hasn't been renovated yet, adding a level on it, adding square footage, adding bedrooms, making it worth more money. What about
You're-
that kind of
Doing what we're
Right,
gonna
you're-
do when the short sale's up.
Right, you're in a niche. But you're going to be doing
Yeah.
at a level, so you have a specific niche.
Right.
We could do any of it. We've done all of that. Other people are just going to take a house, paint, carpet, kitchen, bath, flooring,
Right.
and sell it. So
My
it's different
projects will be more
strategies on
in-depth.
what you're talking about. You're a different strategy than the average person that's just going to come in, renovate it, and sell it. You're
Right.
you're doing a whole different thing that takes a longer process.
Mhm.
You got to get an architect involved. You got to get loans. You got to get
Zoning.
zoning.
If
things
you're
like
going
that.
big, yeah.
Well, it
depending-
depends on the town.
Yeah.
Every town has
And
their
the
different
structure
rules.
of
and-
it that
Right.
you're
Oh,
doing.
right.
If you go an inch past the regular footprint, you need zoning.
It's
which
a
is-
big-
I have
different
the
strategy.
team in place, architect.
Yeah.
I've got the
Right.
team in place. So
So it all depends on what you're doing. I think Chris is just talking about, hey, here's a house, needs a roof, windows, doors, carpets, floors.
Right.
You're not rebuilding it that way where you're changing framing and adding a level. You're just
Right.
rehabbing it, renovating it, and bringing it up to today's standards, and then
Yeah.
selling it. And a general rehab is 60 to 90 days.
Right. Right.
You know?
Well,
So
I mean,
60 to 90 days, you're putting it back on the market for sale.
Well,
with deals
nowadays,
being harder, with deals being harder and harder to find, you want to get creative. You know, want to.
That's the thing. And any deal, whether you're doing your niche or you're doing what Chris wants to do, most deals are they're made. They're not just found. You have to create the deal.
Right.
You know, how can you help the person selling the property? What is it that they need? You know, it's a whole other night of information and
There's gonna be a wave of them coming.
Oh, yeah.
we've done the
Business
joint
is gonna be
ventures with the
a big one.
homeowners.
yeah,
We actually renovated a whole house while she lived in one bedroom.
That's funny.
Yep.
Wow.
Then there,
There's a new niche coming, actually. I don't know if this is the right topic, but I was reading an article in the Wall Street Journal where these big PE shops are, they're doing sale leasebacks, typically, which is commercial, but they're taking it down to single family.
Yeah, that's the biggest mistake you can make. You do a sale leaseback, and you will end up in court.
yeah, that
Yeah.
definitely.
As a pre-foreclosure prevention. That's what we're
Correct.
talking about. Yeah.
I think they're looking for houses that have equity in there. You know,
Right.
it's not,
Yeah.
they're not doing any type of.
Oh,
No, here's what happened in 2009 and 10, and this is why you got to be really careful of that approach. So let's say Scott and Tabitha, they were behind in their mortgage for a year, and the bank sent them a letter to foreclose, and I sent them a letter because I got a list of foreclosures. It said, "Listen, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you stay in your house, and this is how I'm going to do it." They call me up. I go to them. I said, "This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy your house from you. You're going to pay me rent. And then when you fix your credit or get back on your feet, you could buy the house back from me."
that's
Now,
another.
here's what's not going to happen. They're not going to fix their credit. Okay.
No.
And here's what's going to happen. 6 months later, if they couldn't pay the bank, they couldn't pay you either. And then
Right.
they get an eviction letter. Wait a minute. This is my house. You promised me it was my house. And they call an attorney. And the attorney says that was fraud. And a lot of bankers and real estate agents and investors went to jail over this. Matter of fact, my new rule is I don't care. I will never, ever lease back a property to someone I bought it from. In fact, if I have two houses right next to each other and I'm buying this guy's house and he's got $1 million in the bank, he just wants to get rid of his house and he wants to lease it back to me, I will lease him this one. I will not lease him this one because I know that there's a potential that I'll go to jail over fraud because his attorney will tie me up in court forever, and I just don't want to do it. I'll rent you another house, but I'm not going to rent you this one, and I'm not going to promise you could ever buy it back.
Yeah.
We have people in our class who have done this, again, before they were students of ours, and it's a dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, like Adam said it before, educating yourself is the highest thing you can do, is the best thing you can do before you get into something and make the wrong moves. Once you're into something, like Larry said before, he helped a woman. I mean, sometimes you get into really sticky situations, nobody can help you. Other times people can. It depends on the people you know and the relationships you build. But you always need to know what you're getting into. So you should stay away from, especially when you're new. Don't get involved with some crazy project or opportunity because you think it's worth $1 million. Stick with the simple stuff. Call somebody.
Yeah.
Call somebody you know that has experience. Reach out to people.
You could always call
and
us. Ask the questions first.
Larry, what time does the class start Saturday?
Oh, Saturday. So Saturday, the all day thing is 8:30 to 6.
8:30 to 6.
8:30 in the morning.
8:30 in the morning to 6. We have incredible speakers. I mean, it's an all day event.
Larry always has great speakers.
Yeah.
I know
Thank
that.
you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You've
For
been
himself is a great speaker, as you saw tonight.
and you've been to some of our classes, you guys, right?
Yes,
Yes.
we have.
Yeah,
We took
yeah.
the drive up.
Yep, we've
I
been to
know.
the office a few times. It's been a while.
And we've been trying to get me to do the subject to presentation.
Where's your office? It's in
Langhorne, right outside of Newtown or right outside of Trenton, if you want,
Okay.
New Jersey.
I want to go down there one day.
Come
It's
this
nice.
Saturday, man. I'd love to see you.
I'll be in Florida, unfortunately.
He's going the other way.
You're making too much money if you're in Florida.
Yeah.
He just got back from what?
But it's-
I think he
Aruba or
was in
something.
Aruba. Were you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Aruba.
Okay.
And before that, what, Greece?
Does anybody
Yeah,
else have
that was-
questions?
Yeah, that was a year ago.
Larry, I have a question. If I can't make it on Saturday, will you be recording it?
No,
No?
but we will do it again. But also the other thing, look, you can come to a Thursday night class. If you want to come tomorrow night, you can come tomorrow night. You're going to learn stuff. I promise you're going to learn stuff. All right. You know, here's why I'm not recording Saturday. Real simple, right? If I gave you a recording of Saturday, would you watch the whole 8 hours?
Probably, yeah. That's why I'm
Yeah,
asking.
he
You
would.
would watch the whole 8 hours?
He would.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
If you will watch the whole 8 hours and you promise me okay, this is what I'll do. All right. It's $10,000 for the whole 8 hours. But here's the deal. Every hour you watch it, I'll take $1,200 off. So if you watch the whole 8 hours, it costs you nothing. Did I do my math right? That's how sure I am I'm going to get paid.
Close enough.
1,500. 1,500 an hour. You
That's
guys.
how sure I am I'm going to get paid. People don't watch. I mean, they'll watch a half-hour video or an hour video or something. That's great. But when they're participating, they'll watch.
Well, I'm participating in a 3-day event this weekend, which is why I can't make it.
Well, look, we have other events too. We have actually, you guys, anybody here want to learn how to market for real estate?
Who doesn't?
I mean, if you don't, fine. It's okay. I won't give you that link. If you don't want the link, I won't give you the
Everybody
link. I
should
don't
be
know.
like, I
Share
do.
it. Who knows?
Chris is asking, where can I find a deal?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Definitely. What do you got?
So we have another thing that I didn't want to tell you about it because I don't want to give you too many things at once to decide on, but you can come to all of
Just
them.
shout it all out, Larry.
So this is a new marketing system that we discovered. Greatest marketing system ever. You can get your list. You can get your. We were talking about this the other day, Scott. So check this out. Remember I said I was going to do a presentation on it?
Yes.
So this is October 14th. It's on a Wednesday. I'm doing this one. This is anything and everything you always wanted to know about marketing. Plus, there's a system that's out there that I found accidentally, and I'll tell you the story then. How I found this system accidentally. That's the greatest marketing system I've ever found for real estate investors, and I love it. My students are eating this thing up. It's fantastic. So if you want to do that, I'll do a presentation on that. You guys could be there, and you guys could see my big TV. If you haven't seen.
Yeah, he's got a huge TV.
Yeah.
You got bigger than what was there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you went
Oh yeah.
bigger.
You haven't seen our new TV yet.
No.
Yeah.
Did you get any new jackets?
So when
Any
COVID hit,
pictures, new jackets?
we spent between $80,000 and $100,000 to create a complete TV studio. So when we do a Zoom call, it's pretty funny because I'm sitting here on the Zoom and my Zoom keeps breaking up, and it's hysterical that I'm going back to the cheap way of doing it. But tomorrow night, if you guys get online, I'm telling you, tomorrow night, just watch. Even if you're only there for half an hour, just to see how cool the technology is. When you see what we do, it'll blow your mind. We have the audience is interactive with you guys. You guys are interactive with the audience. It's like you're being in the same room. There's no difference. It's absolutely amazing what we've done. And we borrowed a whole lot of money from the SBA to create this because we knew that people weren't going to show up. And now we've got people showing up, and actually we now have students across the country. Because before we had kind of local, and we were kind of building out. Now we got students in California, we got students in Florida, we got students in Boston, we got students in New York, we got students everywhere. I think somebody just from Ohio the other day signed up. So because of this system that we have now, and when we first created the school, we wanted to be able to do this, but we couldn't do it the way I wanted it. Because when I do it, you guys know I do everything got to be right, and now it's done. So COVID was the greatest thing that happened to the school.
Check Larry out.
Got the free money.
Yeah,
he's got the best of both worlds now. That's the thing. His school was great to begin with, where it's located and what he had set up originally.
It's unbelievable what COVID did. This guy who's renting from my father. He's a DJ. His business took off. Now he's like a famous DJ.
Yeah.
It's a crazy story. But his business took off because of TikTok. Guy's got like millions of followers.
Yeah, TikTok's crazy too. But
all
right.
Before we end, I want to thank Nick left already, but I want to thank Adam for coming on and talking tonight and giving us his time and his information. And thanks for Larry coming in. I didn't even ask him, but he joined and
He
gave
came
us a
in.
world of knowledge tonight. And
Thank you.
And Brittany for her first
Brittany for the
time.
first time. Thanks
So
for
you get to
coming.
see what goes on and how it happens. So you're ready
Larry,
for next time.
Oh, we got a question.
Larry,
Yes, sir.
before we go, what time is your class tomorrow?
7 o'clock.
7, okay.
Right.
thanks.
So go to investorschooling.com and you can sign up. When you click the sign up button, you'll have a choice. You could be online or you could be in person.
Yep, you go there and you can follow Larry on Facebook.
If you come in
and-
person, you don't need a mask.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you ever wanted to be someplace with 25, 30 people in a room with no mask and pretend you're human again,
Yeah,
we
right?
offer that environment.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like it.
And we won't make fun of people who wear masks, so it's okay.
I was going to ask that. I said, what do you do with the people that come with the mask? Are you okay with it? Or
You got the biggest
No, we can
mask
get on
in the
Zoom.
room. The biggest.
So here's, it's really funny. They walk in the room, they walk in like this, so they're wearing their mask like this, right? They walk in.
Like I can breathe.
They almost all, it's hysterical how they walk in. And the sign on the door says, masks are optional.
Yes.
Anyway.
Sounds like a
Okay.
plan.
So I guess
I'm
we'll
insane.
wrap it up. We'll call it a night. I mean, we're
Hour
always-
past our
we
time.
always wind up going over with our
Yeah.
speakers because it's always great information and people enjoy it.
Loved it. Had a good time.
Yep. And
Thank you all.
I record these meetings, and for those that don't know, they're on our YouTube page for Diamond and Rough Properties, which is our company. So if you look up Diamond and Rough Properties, you'll find it there. So I'll have this up probably within the next few days, and the other recordings are all there. We haven't promoted our YouTube page. I've been trying to play with it and get videos up there, but they're all up there. So this will be up there as well. And you can check out some of the other meetings that we've had in the past in case you were on and had to leave or you missed it. This past year's meetings have all been put up there since COVID hit. So we've been recording them all and throwing them up there.
You
And
can
if you're
always
not sure,
contact us.
contact us. You know, you
You
can
can
hit us
find
up.
us.
We're on Facebook, CNJ REIG. We got the meetup page. You can hit us up there. You can get us individually on Facebook as well as
IM.
just, you know, you can IM us there. You know, and we're always open to work with people, joint venture with people. We can, you know, teach people on top of what Larry does and what everybody else talks about, you know. So feel free to reach out. And there's Larry's Facebook page. So connect with Larry on Facebook, connect with Adam on Facebook. It's all about building your relationships, right? Not just
Yep.
about coming here and listening. Everybody that was on here should be reaching out on Facebook and LinkedIn. There's tricks when you're in the room, but for right now, you
Bigger
can,
Pockets is another source going there.
big,
There's a
big,
lot of,
bigger
Yeah.
pockets. Yeah, that's another source
learning.
for it. It's
The-
better if you pay, but you can do it free.
Yeah.
in the Facebook groups too. There's a lot of people in the real estate.
Yep. So there's a lot of things out there you can do and learn. So, but just feel free to reach out to people, build your relationships up, and you know, get your knowledge going. And don't be afraid to talk.
Yep.
Always talk. Tell people what you're doing, and you'll find the money.
I'll be in touch with you guys.
Sounds
Awesome.
great. We're always available. All right, everybody. Thanks for
Have a
coming.
good one.
Enjoyed. Hope you learned, and we'll talk to everybody soon.
Take care.
Take care, everybody. Nice to meet you all.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.